Welcome back again, everybody. Okay, so this is basically part 2 to the running shoe fit video. Okay, and this time we're going to talk about old running shoes and what we look for in those and what the story they tell. Okay, so really love old running shoes. Okay, not because they smell great, because mine smell terrible. Because usually I don't run with socks, but because they can tell you a whole lot more than just a quick. Even if I spent 15 minutes trying to do all sorts of high-tech gait analysis, you don't run the same when you're being watched. Okay, your shoes are going to tell what you're doing when no one's looking. Okay, because nobody's perfect. Okay, so that's why I really like the old running shoes. So we're going to take a look at actually a pair of mine and a pair of Drew's and give you kind of a comparison on how things look and what we're looking for in shoes. So the first thing that I'm going to do when I look at an old pair of shoes is I'm going to take a look at the treads. Okay. So as we come in closer, what I'm going to look for is where is the wear on a shoe, okay? Most people will automatically tell me that they wear on the outside towards the heel. It's perfectly fine, okay? That is where most people will strike, because when the shoe hits the ground, the first thing I'm going to do is actually hit on that outside and start to roll inward, okay? So I hit the ground with my foot and start to roll inward. That's that natural pronation that we have, okay? So that's not really where I'm looking. I'm looking from there, that start point, where does it roll through the rest of the foot? And as you can see, most of my wear actually starts to come in through here. So I actually tend to overpronate just a touch because I'd rather see this higher wear section where I can tell, again, where it's worn, because I can feel where the cushion starts to fold really easy as compared to a newer shoe that Drew got. All of it's going to be pretty stiff because the foam isn't really worn in. These I've had for quite a bit of time, so they're going to be a bit softer. Okay, but I would want to see that section right here actually moved up a little bit closer to here. Okay, that's going to be where my big toe is. That's where that base of that big toe and the end of the big toe is, and that's where I should be pressing off from. Mine, I roll in a little much, so I'm rolling in and I'm pushing off actually right about here instead of up here. Okay. Also, the foam through the inside can tell a lot as well. Okay, and this is where you look at something like this, and it's called a neutral shoe. You can see it's all the same color through here. If I show you Drew's, he's got what we call a support shoe. Okay, so this different colored foam here is actually a higher density than this foam up front. Okay, so that's in case somebody starts to collapse inward, they hit this foam and it keeps them upright instead of allowing them to roll in further, so they don't come in that direction. Okay. Can usually also tell, so if that wear starts to come out through this direction here, so if I'm pushed instead of here, more towards here, that's somebody who still needs to remain in something like a neutral shoe like mine, maybe a little bit softer than what mine is, to allow them to come in a little bit better of that neutral position. And those are usually the only things that I really have to look for. Some people will come in asking like, hey, you know, I just want to see how much more life I have on my shoes. And the one thing I will look for is then I'll start to actually press through the shoe. Okay. So this shoe, if I could easily push this down, which I can, I don't even have to use much force to get that to start to collapse inward in all these areas. It's telling me the shoe's getting towards the end of its life, so I should probably look at getting a newer pair of shoes. Drew's, through most of it, I gotta press pretty hard to kind of try and squeeze that down. And these are new. I mean, I know they're new for Drew, but even if he brought these to me and asked me how much life he had on these, I could tell you just by the feel that I have to put more force to kind of flex these, because this is gonna be where most people put kind of that force. So what I'm feeling for here is how easily my thumb kind of sinks in here. Doesn't feel like it sinks in very easily on Drew's shoe, but on my shoe, through these areas, I can tell that it's sinking pretty good, which is that's just a sign that the EVA foam, which is the primary cushion in a pair of running shoes, that's actually kind of broken down. Okay, so that's why I love checking out people's old running shoes. Okay, these are more important than us actually taking a look at your gait, because these will tell us where you're hitting on your foot and where you're running through. Shoes aren't worn through too much, but I can see that this is a good shoe for him based on his wear pattern being right through the middle. There's a couple different shoes actually that might be slightly better for him, but even when he was walking, he's in a neutral position, so he doesn't really need too much support. So he'd be better in a shoe like mine, just with how his gait is and with how he's wearing through the shoe. So if you ever go getting fit for shoes, take your old ones. If they don't take a look at them, you probably want to go to a different store. And most likely, don't choose a big box store. For the most part, they don't have people who are trained to look specifically for these things. They just have somebody who either is passionate about running and hasn't been trained, like we have at a running specialty store. If you run, go to a running specialty store. It's what we do. We are a running specialty store. We care about running, everything running, and all things about runners. Okay? So, and also it's nice, shop local, support your local guys. Okay? Until next time, guys, live, lift, love. Take care.